Water. When it comes to gardening, it can be a blessing or a curse. One year it might be extreme downpours all season long, and then the next, severe drought. But Mother Nature can certainly keep us challenged in that area. So in this video, I'm going to show you steps that you can and should take so that you and your plants can handle those ebbs and flows for better water management. Sometimes I think gardeners relate their love of plants to the amount of water they give them. But unfortunately, sometimes they can literally love their plants to death because more plants die from overwatering than underwatering. And as living organisms, plants need to breathe too, and they do that through their roots. So it's important that the soil is able to drain well but hold enough moisture so that they can function properly. But when the soil becomes too soggy, it pushes that air out of the soil, and then those plants can literally suffocate and drown. You know, given the option, it's better to let your soil get too dry rather than remain too soggy. Plants have a great ability to kind of ride out that dry period. They can go into a semi-dormant stage or they can wilt their leaves, kind of like this oak leaf hydrangea is doing right now. But even so, they can only do that for so long before they need water. So your goal is to try to find that perfect Goldilocks balance between just right, not too wet and not too dry. So what is that like? Well, in general, it's about an inch of water per week for most plants and even your lawns. But what's an inch of water? Well, you can get a tuna can out and set that under the drip line or the flow of the water, and then you just measure how long it takes for that can to fill up, and that's an inch. So you can try that. But anything more than an inch of water, especially on plants that are established, well, that's just a waste of your time and a precious resource. When it comes to selecting new plants for your landscape and garden, how do you know what plants go best where? Well, pay attention to the plant tag. The plant tag provides all the basic information and more. Most importantly, it will help you put the right plant in the right location. Planting outside of your limitations and challenges of your environment can be expensive, time-consuming, and water wasteful. So stick with plants which are zone appropriate and put the right plant in the right place. They'll require less water to offset the inevitable struggle which comes as a result of conditions that don't meet plants' needs. In nature, native plants provide the perfect example of the right plants living in the right place. They've adapted over many years to withstand heat or cold, or wet or dry, and whatever other conditions are typical to your region. Native plants are the ones best known to live and thrive without pampering, including supplemental watering once they're established. And yet, even when we have the right plants and put them in the right locations, they can still struggle through an unusual stretch of heavy rain or parching drought. But a proactive focus on plant and soil health will provide a foundation for your plants to better withstand a weather crisis. An easy way to improve soil health is to add lots of organic matter, especially compost like this. And when you do, you'll eventually reach that moisture maintenance sweet spot. Plus, your plants will be more resilient and they'll be better able to weather any storm or drought. And the way that you know when you get there is to reach into your soil and bring some up and squeeze it together. And what you're looking for is this. You want it to bind together, yet at the same time you want it to break apart easily when you run your fingers through it, like that. Now, if it doesn't bind or break apart, that means it's either too dry or too wet. But the good news is, adding more organic matter to your soil will fix either scenario. Natural mulch is another great way to continue improving soil health. The layer will act as a protective covering over exposed soil to reduce water evaporation from wind and heat. With a 2-inch layer of mulch in place, you can reduce your watering frequency by several days. Natural mulch also improves your soil as it breaks down, and that's a big win-win. Improving soil health doesn't just apply to your garden and landscape beds. It will go a long way toward reducing the amount of supplemental water to your lawn and container garden needs too, as well as their ability to withstand heat and drought also. When you understand that less is more when it comes to watering and you take the time to improve the growing conditions in your soil, your entire landscape will be healthier and more resilient, and you'll save plenty of time, money, and especially water.